Hey, it's Marco from Fast Freddy, and today we're looking at the FF4 winder. Now, this is a universal winder meant for stuff like lay flat, extension cord, cable, rope. Whatever you wind by hand can get done on this winder a lot quicker, safer, more ergonomically, and easier. So we're going to give you a quick rundown of how this thing works. So the FF4 is a hand-operated winder. That means we take a handle, we slide it into our stem pin on the front, and we crank it as fast as we think we need to crank it. Obviously, for larger stuff, you're going to go a little slower, and for smaller stuff, you might go a little quicker, but it's just as easy as that. Inside of our stem pin, we have a nice long slot, and we might start a lot of the stuff in that slot if we're going to wind it from the center out. Could be our lay flats, whatever we want to wind, right from dead zero to whatever the outer diameter is going to be. But let's say we're going to be doing an extension cord or a rope or a cable that's a little more stiff. We can use our detent arms, which are multi-positional in this case. So we have 5 little indicating stripes here. We can take this out and we can set these to whatever dimension we would like to use them at. And the cool thing about these detent arms is that they are magnetically locked in place into a slot. So in this case, I could put an extension cord in here, I could wind it up, and when I'm done, I can simply pull this and it will drop down. It'll relieve the stress off, and I'm able to take that extension cord off there nice and easily and hang it up and go on to my next one. Now, when it comes to the guide arm, we've made this as equally as universal as our reel plate. If you want to use it, this would be an operating position. You have 2 others as well. You can go a little bit lower, you can go all the way up, and if you don't want to use it, you can put it all the way down, out of the way as well. Now, let's say you have a dirty extension cord and you want to clean it. You might put a wash mitt on, and you might just reel it in with a wash mitt on, and you can clean it at the same time. If the extension cord is clean or your lay flat is clean or whatever, you can use your guide roller assembly in this position, and you'll see that we can open and close the assembly, and it has a locking ratchet. So as you push it closed, the ratchet will keep it in place, and for stuff like lay flat, it's going to squeeze that water and debris out of it as you're reeling it in. And you can adjust these initial fair lead rollers back and forth for whatever the width of material is. So let's say you're doing extension cord, you might keep it fairly narrow, but if you're doing something like a 4-inch lay flat, you might widen it out to keep everything nicely structured up here when you're winding it in. So very easy to use and very effective as well. Now on the back of the Fast Freddy 4, we have a couple of heavy-duty 3/4 inch bearings. This is just a pillow block bearing, super stout setup, and everything is aluminum, stainless, or zinc-coated steel. Now this one here has a handle kit on it. That is an optional kit. If you're going to keep it in the wash bay and it's never going to move, the handle kit might not be of use. But let's say you're a rental company taking it to party rental locations, or you want to move it from one position in the shop to the next. The handle kit is extremely easy to use, and this thing weighs 140 pounds, and like this, I can move it around with one hand very easily. So for certain applications, the handle kit is extremely useful. But on the back here, it's a very simple setup that's going to last a long time. Now, the lock arm on this side is very simple. We have a handle holder, so when you're not using your handle, it's going to slide right into a little pocket there. We have the lock itself. So you can see we have holes right around the perimeter. So for certain applications, let's say you have a lay flat with a big housing onto it, it might want to always turn to the heaviest spot, which is down. It's got some bearings on it, so it turns very easily. So you can just simply come over, snap the lock, and it will hold this reel plate in position. And when you don't want to use it, you can just pull it, and it just locks open like that, so super easy to use. We have a little holder here. You'll see a lot of companies will do stuff like they will fasten their cables with a piece of wire, or it could be a zip tie, so you can pull a zip tie out of here and go through this auxiliary slot to fasten whatever you're using to bundle it together. Over here, we have a couple holes, a couple grooves. Let's say you've got a side cutter, you can nicely just keep it in there, and that way it's easy to grab. And also you might want to hang like a wash mitt or something off the back here. So super simple and super easy to use. All right, so we have a chunk of 12 gauge extension cord. This is a 50-foot length, so not super long, but let's say you had 100 or 200 feet. This would come in handy. In this case, I've got it in the third position for my detent arms. Now these detent tabs can be removed. I have them on in this case. They're not really in my way, but you can take these on and off with these two little button head screws here as well. So take this through, lower my guide arm, close my fair lead roller up with a little bit of gap, throw it through my stem pin, open my guide roller, release a detent arm, and there's a 50-foot extension cord ready to go. We got some natural gas hose, right around 1.25 inches in diameter, but pretty standard stuff for your rental guys. We're not going to squeeze this too hard. We don't want to squeeze this shut. We just want to have some light pressure, maybe even a little bit of space in there. And from there we can bring it around. And we can wind her up. Take the pressure off. And there's your coil of natural gas hose. 2-aught welding cable, 50 feet, which is a pretty standard length, but you can get these in 100 or 200 feet. Take it up, spread our fair lead roller just a little bit. Again, we don't want to pinch that, we just want to hold it in position. I'm going to come through and use my zip tie slot to my advantage. Unlock it, handle. There you go. So if we did 100 feet or even 200, it would work. Now if you want to run a zip tie through it, you can quite easily by going through these zip tie slots. And there you go. She's coiled. All right, for all you window washer guys, this is rope. This is just some cheap nylon rope, but this is 150 feet. And let's say you're going to do like a 500-foot length or something a little longer. You might want to go maybe on the outside of the reel plate. Something like that. Start it from the center. And there you go. So, you know, you could double this to 300 feet or go 500 feet as well if you wish to on the Fast Freddy 4. All right, 4-inch lay flat, same thing. I'm going to open my fair lead rollers just a little bit to accommodate the wider hose. I'm going to push it down so it's got a good pinch on it. Now, normally, we always start with the male end, because when the rollers only want to inspect the female end to make sure the seal is in there before it goes on rental. So in this case, I'm going to go into our second position because this is larger. So this needs to be at the end of the coupler, which it is nicely. And I can bring it around, get her started. There we go. We can inspect it. It's got an O-ring in it, ready for rental. Some 4-inch as well. Now this is firefighter / overland firefighting hose. So a lot heavier duty, super thick stuff. Again, open my fair lead rollers. I might leave a little more room on this one. Pull it through. I got a fairly stubby coupler, so I'm going to set it something like that. And I got a nice little stomp pad here to keep this thing from running away on itself. Lock it. Release the pressure. And there we go. And that would be a 4-inch heavy duty lay flat. A couple options to keep in mind is that we also do a wall mount and a hitch mount. So on the website, you'll see it comes standard with the leg mount. Let's say this thing's gonna be in a wash bay and it's never gonna move. A wall mount is probably gonna be a great idea. So you can forego the legs for a wall mount, or maybe you're a firefighter fighting a brush fire, or you're a construction guy dewatering a site, and you want it on the back of a pickup truck or a side-by-side or something like that. A hitch mount is fantastic as well. And you'll see those on the website under the accessories with the wheel kit as well. And as far as shipping goes, it's real easy. We assemble these things 90% of the way before it leaves the factory. So when you get it, there's 8 bolts to get this thing together, which is real easy. As far as shipping goes, if we're shipping it within North America, so it's Canada, US, or Mexico, it's gonna go into a heavy-duty cardboard box and most likely get shipped with UPS. If it's getting shipped internationally, which we do, it'll probably get put into a heavy-duty wooden crate, so we keep it safe for that longer journey. And if you have questions about your application, you can email us or call us anytime. Go to the Contact Us on the FastFreddy website page. If you're not sure of the application, give us a call or shoot us an email. We have a ton of people using this thing for different applications, and we could offer some really good insight if it's going to work well or not. So don't be afraid to reach out. So if you have any more questions, leave a comment below or give us a call, email us, and we'll be more than happy to help you.